is the next day, but I'm back at the bunk bed. Hello again, friends and family, and welcome to another exciting episode of Rink Life. As you can see, I am in the RV right now. So today's episode, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I'm going to be doing to work on this motorhome. And I'm also going to be showing you some of those things. I'm not sure yet how many of the projects I'm going to include in this video versus how many I'm going to break up and put into other videos. But what I wanted to do to start off with is do a little bit of unboxing, because I just checked the mail today and this package came with a couple of the parts that I ordered for the RV. I got it from eTrailer, not a sponsor, obviously. Don't have sponsors. Not yet, anyway. Never done an unboxing video. This is fairly short. There's only a couple things in here, but I wanted to show you what they were. I'm very excited for these. These are going to take this camper to the next level. Alright, so first off, one of the two things is an LED light. This is going to go in the bathroom. I'm not sure what kind of light this originally had in the bathroom. Right now there's no light at all. There is an electric fan on the vent, so there is 12-volt wires running to the bathroom, so it'll be real easy to install this on that circuit. I don't know if the old vent used to have a fan built into it. The vents were replaced fairly recently because I guess they were broken and leaking, so maybe the old light was part of the vent and it got replaced and it's gone. But anyways, now I've got a new light for the bathroom, and it's LED, so it'll use less battery. Eventually I'm gonna replace all of the lights in here of LEDs, so that way you can use the one battery for a long time without it going dead as quickly. Now this other thing, this is what I'm excited for. It doesn't look like much, does it? Essentially, this is going to be the new brain of the entire electrical system. This is 110 and 12 volt. It's got 7 circuits for the 12 volt, as well as up to, I believe, 6 circuits for the 110. All of the wiring in this motorhome is kind of unusual right now because they use different systems in Japan. So for the 12 volt system, it's kind of different because the cab part is 24 volts, but everything back here in the back is only 12 volts. So it's got two different battery banks and two different sets of electrical wires and a whole jumbled mess of wires. Eventually, I'll show you under that seat. It is a mess. And then the electrical system is running on 100 volts, not the traditional 110 volts that we're used to here in America. So I'm going to be redoing that because, for example, some of the battery chargers and everything are running at 100 volts, and they would run at 110 because it's close enough, but it's not the ideal situation. They're going to be a little bit overcharged and can cause damage, maybe even risk a fire, and we don't want that. Also, the way that the generator is wired up, there's a lot of really old technology in here that isn't really necessary anymore. So I'm going to be able to eliminate like 5 different components that are each about the size of this one and replace it with this, because this will not only have the circuits for the 110 and 12 volts, it also is a battery charger and it is a converter. Not an inverter, but a converter. So anytime that it's plugged into electricity, it's not only charging the battery, but it's also powering all the 12 volt lights. And the the converter that's in here right now doesn't seem to work. Maybe I'm just wiring it up wrong, or maybe it won't accept the 110 volts, but it's just dead in the water, not doing anything. So I will be showing a video, maybe this one, keep watching, we'll see, where I install this, replace all the wires, update the electrical system, get it all ready to hit the road. Anyways, that's it. I've actually already done one project, which I have on video, that I think I'm going to play after this introduction, which is replacing a soft spot in the floor. So that's the first major project that I've done on this camper. Everything else I've just been kind of figuring out what needs to be done with it. I've ordered a lot more parts. This is just the first package that came in. I should be getting at least 3 or 4 different packages, as well as some stuff that I'm going to be buying locally to install. And then after the soft spot, which I've already done, which you will see soon, the next thing I'm going to be doing is up here. I've got the curtains closed because it's sunset. It actually might be okay right now. So the lighting was backlighting and it wasn't very good. But up here, I don't know if you can see that, above the cab, above the front seats, is just a storage area. I mentioned that in the introduction video. And I'm going to be converting that into a full-time bed. So that, I've got all the materials, all the supplies I need. It's going to be a fairly major project, but I think I can handle it pretty easily. It should go pretty quickly. I'm going to be eliminating a lot of stuff up there and just making it into a simple bunk bed, so it's a cab over like a lot of the other motorhomes are. Anyways, that's it for now. I will get started on the next project, so stay tuned. Alright, so the very first project I'm going to work on, or at least one of the first, is it's got a soft spot in the floor. I don't know if you can see that, but it's very squishy right here. Apparently there was a roof vent that leaked. That roof vent has now been replaced and is brand new by the previous owner. So the leak is taken care of, but the floor still is soft. So I'm going to be taking up this carpet and seeing, or this flooring, seeing what I can do to get that taken care of. So we have a nice sturdy base for everything else. Alright, so I got that old rotted wood out of there. I cut it out and actually found that underneath is foam. It's about 1.5 inches thick foam. The foam's still in good shape, so it'll be real easy to just slide that new piece of wood right in there and get that all taken care of. I don't have to worry about hitting studs or anything. It's just going to be a floating floor. There's not really anything to screw it down to. But I will start the video again once I get that new piece of wood cut and put in there. Alright, so here you go. I got the new piece of wood down. It's ugly because it's one I had laying around, so it's got some paint on it. But I've got some really nice vinyl flooring I'm going to be covering up this whole kitchen area with. But first I want to do some painting before I put the floors down. But the soft spot is now fixed, and it is good to go, covered up for flooring. So, that's all for now. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get started converting the bed. Probably won't get it all done today, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. I apologize, the lighting probably is not that great. I'm using my work light, so there's going to be a lot of shadows, but we're going to go ahead and do this. Also, the sound might be a little bit off because I've got a propane heater going to keep me warm in here, so you might be hearing that. First step, anytime you're doing a major project like this, is disassembly, so I guess I'll get started on that. So originally over here in this hole was a tube TV, one of the big old ones from 1993. So that's why there's this big area. Over on this side is the stereo system, as well as part of the air conditioning unit. And so there's a big box over here, and that's what prevents this from being a bunk bed. I'm going to be able to easily take the one out on this side where the TV was. Everything in there can go because it's got a flat screen TV, which I may leave here or I may put somewhere else. We will see. On this side, I'm going to relocate the stereo. As far as the air conditioner, I'm going to have to get a little bit creative. We'll see what I can do, but might just make the bed a little bit smaller. But either way, I'm going to make it a bed, I'm determined. Let me show you what I'm working with up here with that air conditioner I was talking about. So we got this big fan, this unit, and then a bunch of pipes going down. Otherwise, this area is nice and clear. It's just a shadow. And then put down the board for the bed, do some finishing work, and I'll be done. Easier said than done, right? Alright, so I'm back at it. It is the next day. Had a lot of stuff to get done, but I'm back at the bunk bed. Right now I am going to be cutting a template for the plywood that's going to go across here. A lot of the people from my last video, the minivan build, gave me suggestions to use cardboard as a template. So I'm going to see how that goes. I actually happened to have a box from an old hot water heater that was big enough. So I will see how this works. You can definitely see how this is going to be easier than working with the plywood and just kind of guessing at my cuts. So thank you everyone who made that suggestion. It's going to make it a lot easier. This is still going to be challenging because I've got to get those corners cut way up there. Alright, so I got the cardboard cut out. It was actually easier than I thought it would be. If anyone is doing this though, my recommendation is to use a brand new razor blade in your box cutter. That will make it 1,000 times easier. I started off just using a pocket knife and scissors and it was a no-go. Got that sharp razor blade in there and it went super easy. So it doesn't look like much now, but hopefully this will work as a template for the plywood, and then we will have a bed. Alright, so here we go. I got the plywood cut and put up for the upper bunk. It's a little harder to get it up there than I would have imagined, mostly being because of the pipes for the air conditioning system. Because the piece of wood is just as wide, I couldn't just slide it in because of this pipe. So I had to do a little bit of creative cutting. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what I had to do. I did a lot of different calculations of the cardboard to figure out what was the least amount of wood I had to cut out of the way in order to slide this in. So I cut out that little notch out of the corner as well as a little place for the pipes to slide. And then essentially what I did was I put it around that pipe and then slid this side in that way, rotated it in. And it was a very tight fit, but that's how I ended up getting it in there. I have laid up there and there's not a whole lot of room. There's enough room for me to turn over, but that's about it. So it'll work, but not going to be the most comfortable bed in the world, but it'll work. So there we go. That project is done, except for the wall that's going to go there and here and finish it off, but that will be in the next video. Alright, so now I am going to be putting the light here in the bathroom. Hope you can see okay. There's not a lot of room here, and my camera is not very wide angled. First thing, I'm going to take this cover off of the fan vent. Hopefully there's not any crazy surprises under here. Let's see, there is only 2 wires. Okay. Okay, so I just did a little electrical testing and found out that apparently black being ground on a 12-volt system is not universal. Either that or sometime along the line somebody switched the wires somewhere in the system. But anyways, the black is the hot and the green with the red stripe is the ground. So the fan was actually wired in backwards. Whoever wired it in did black to black, white to green. And so the fan was actually blowing down. And if I would have hooked up the LED light with that, it just simply wouldn't have worked. So now that I know that, I can continue with the installation. Alright, so I got the light wired in, fan back up, everything should be wired the right way, so let's give it a try. I'll turn on the main switch for the bathroom, turn off my video light, voila! We have light, we have fan. Alright, so that's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Had a lot of projects to get done this week. Started a lot more than I'm actually showing you. These are just the ones that I kind of got wrapped up. So if you come back next week, there'll be a whole lot more things, maybe more entertaining things to see. But for now, that's all I have. So, signing out.